Is Russia learning from its mistakes in Avdiivka? And just how hard are they looking to push in the East? I'm Paul, U.S. Army combat veteran. It's October 12th, 2023. This is your daily Ukraine update. Let's get into it. Okay, first we're taking a look at the combat map because there hasn't been an update yet to the control map. But following yesterday's 106 Russian attacks, today we're seeing 95. So the Russian offensive appears to be in full swing, and it is spread across the entire front line, but you can see limited counterattacks happening outside of Verbova, as well as near Volodar and the smaller towns here, Novodonetsky, excuse me. But when we look at the most prominent areas of their offensive, you can see it's outside Donetsk itself. And here we're seeing Russian forces really push to try to encircle this Avdiivka region, trying to especially move along these flanks here, as well as pin potential reinforcements in place to the south. We're going to talk a little bit in a bit here about exactly what Russia's tactics are in this environment. But if you're interested in seeing some of the footage from the fighting, that is over on combatvetnews.com. This is my site that I launched because YouTube is very, very prone to censoring anything resembling combat footage. And so I launched my own premium site. If you want to help keep me independent and get access to these uncensored combat video breakdowns, you can do so on Combat Vet News. We're taking a look today at the footage from this fighting. We may also do a couple of deep dives into some footage from the Israel-Gaza or Israel-Hamas conflict. But if you are interested in my war analysis, you're going to want to get the access to these tiers. Any one of them will get you access to the exclusive members only content, but I appreciate the support of all of our lieutenant and colonel tier folks. I'd show you the thumbnails from the members only content, but of course, YouTube will demonetize the video if I show so much as the thumbnail. That's how strict they have become towards independent analysts. Okay, taking a look at the Institute for the Study of War, they are pointing out that localized Russian offensive operations near Avdiivka of course, have demonstrated the ability of Russian forces to apply tactical lessons. The ISW observed that Russian tactics have evolved a lot. They are effectively employing their electronic warfare, counter battery fire, artillery preparation, aerial reconnaissance drones, and inter-unit communication. So clearly, Russia has pivoted from their defensive to try to train up some more effective units. And this sort of investment in coordination reflects a professionalization of maybe not the whole Russian military, but certainly the Russian military that is operating in these regions. Russian sources said these tactical adaptations were also a strength in Russia's defensive operations against Ukraine's counteroffensive. And the majority of Russian forces fighting in Avdiivka are actually elements of the DNR's 1st Army Corps, which is really interesting because the DNR has a reputation of being very amateurish, very under-equipped, and taking high casualties. Of course, these DNR elements, have been really just cannon fodder relative to professionalized Russian troops. But I really think, as they point out, this is the fact that DNR forces have integrated more fully into the Russian regular forces, and it seems pretty likely that these formations are being heavily supported by Russian MOD troops. You know, one of the things we've heard in the leaked footage we've taken a look at is that there is a lot of a really chaotic system of assignment within Russian forces. So a Russian, say, drone operator may find himself one week assigned to a Russian MOD formation. The next week, they may find themselves assigned to a DNR formation. So the idea that there is a pervasive or consistent command is probably unlikely. Now, ISW never ever cannot bring themselves to admit that the Russian military is also kind of competent. So they say it's unlikely to translate into operational or strategic gains. I think that's broadly true. They say the gains are concentrated in the southwest of the city, which would put it right in this region here near Pervomaisky, or possibly Vodiane. But these sort of limited gains are, I think, unlikely. I think it's fair to say they're unlikely to actually complete an encirclement. It's going to be a lot of work to try to push into some of these open regions. They're going to have a really hard time covering this distance into open regions. The more open the terrain is, the more punishing it is in this conflict. That has been universally true. It's been true for Ukrainian forces here, right, trying to make progress in Zaporizhzhia. Right, they assessed that open terrain would favor armored warfare, but instead what it's done is allowed for highly effective targeting, given the lack of cover and concealment and the pervasive use of mining operations. Of course, I think we're going to see reports tomorrow of both Russian gains in Avdiivka, but also the Ukrainian gains taking place in Zaporizhzhia and in Avdiivka. We know they've happened. Ukraine announced them. We just haven't seen the exact locations confirmed on the maps yet. So that is basically all I had. Of course, guys, a huge thank you to all the members of CombatVetNews.com. Thank you to our Colonel tier members. Thanks to our Lieutenant tier members. And of course, thanks to all of our members across the site. I couldn't do this without you guys. Thank you so much. Hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.